A hero is only as good as the villains he faces. Usually, villains are upfront. We get a glimpse of them doing something awful, and then introduce our hero who is attempting to chase them down and put a stop to their evil. And even in some cases, they might keep the villain hidden to make a reveal later on down the road. But most of the time, you've guessed it, as they usually end up being some asshole that comes across the main character who makes it obvious they are the ones behind all the shenanigans. And then there are those rare beauties that no one saw coming. Ones where the audience thought they knew who was going to be revealed as the villain, and then are blown away by the actual outcome. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 epic villain all-along reveals. Number 1. Wanda, or the Scarlet Witch in Wanda Vision. First airing in 2021, we follow Wanda as she lives happily with Vision in a sitcom reality. Each episode is a different era of television, which creates unique scenarios and styles. At first, it follows a very classic style of sitcom storytelling, getting into shenanigans with her husband, and fending off nosy neighbor Agnes. Then there's the bits and pieces that slowly begin to crack through the visage, which then leads her to befriend Geraldine, who actually turns out to be Monica Rambeau, an agent with S.H.I.E.L.D., who is on assignment to find a missing person, but realizes it's actually an entire missing town. Vision slowly begins to become more sentient, regaining memories, and finds out about Wanda's role in all this reality, which causes him to start questioning her and become cautious. Agnes actually turns out to be Agatha Harkness, who has been trapped there while seeking ultimate magic power, and has been trying to get Wanda to wake up and release the hex, so she can then ultimately kill her and take her power. A flashback episode reveals that Wanda has always had chaos magic abilities, even before the Strucker experiment, and that those abilities are what saved her and her brother from the Stark Industries missile. The finale culminates in a battle between Wanda and Agatha, with Wanda taking some tricks out of Agatha's playbook. She eventually releases the hex and gets things back in order, except for Agatha, who she continues to leave trapped in the sitcom mindfuck. The defining moment where Wanda is revealed to be the villain pretty much came once we learned that she trapped an entire town in this hex, against their will, out of grief and anger and what have you. Once it's revealed that everything has been a hex, I wanted to scream. Imagine having that much grief and power to create something so extravagant that it's hard to break through. All in all, it was a great show that needs to be watched. So check it out over on Disney Plus and let me know when you figured it out. Number 2, Rose Armitage, Get Out. Jordan Peele's directorial debut was with this 2017 psychological horror and showcased his genius. We follow Chris as he goes to upstate New York to spend the weekend with his girlfriend's family, who turns out to be really racist but tries covering it up through jokes and whatnot. Chris feels so uncomfortable and out of place, which makes me feel for him. His girlfriend Rose seems to be on his side, always trying to make him feel more comfortable and easing tension as that rises. However, one night a bunch of rich white people show up, and this sets off Chris's flight or fight instincts. He knows something's not right, and now he needs to get out safely. With the help of a friend, Chris is able to figure out who these people are and what the family is up to. But when Rose turns on him, man, I wanted to hit her. It's this scene where Chris realizes he needs to leave. Rose is talking about a sick dog while sitting on the stairs, and he's asking for the keys as the family circles him. He starts screaming at her for the keys, and finally he calmly asks, "Where are those keys, Rose?" She was doing an okay job at faking the whole crying and innocent game, till she pulls out those keys and says, "You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?" This is a crucial moment in the film, and everything comes smashing together as Chris battles his way to freedom, which is an epic showdown. So make sure to check this out over on Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 3, Prince Hans, Frozen. Did you know that Frozen was a Walt Disney adaptation of Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale, The Snow Queen? Well, in 2013, the world was hit with all things Anna and Elsa, including the never-dying song, Let It Go. It still gives me nightmares to this day just hearing it. The story follows two sisters who lose their parents at a young age, and then it turns out that one of them has powers, and the other is a very optimistic yet ordinary human being. When Elsa comes of age, she must take on her role as Queen of Arendelle, which Anna is excited about and can't wait for the festivities. So she eagerly goes out to meet all the new people who've come to visit. Well, on her adventure, she gets bumped by a horse, and the rider turns out to be Prince Hans. She becomes absolutely smitten with him instantly. Back at the castle during the coronation ceremonies, Anna and Hans tell Elsa they want to get married, which upsets Elsa, and so she flees to the North Mountains. Anna takes off after her, and Hans is left behind in charge of the kingdom temporarily. He seems like a genuine guy initially, wanting to help out the kingdom and be there for Anna, because he wants nothing more than her. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. After Anna is struck with Elsa's powers, she needs an act of true love to cure her frozen heart. And it's a mountain man she met on her journey who rushes her back to the kingdom, all so she could have true love's kiss and save her life. Once Anna and Hans are alone in a room, it's revealed that he just wanted to marry her so he could become king. Like a typical villain, he then reveals his plans to her, and she realizes just how naive she really is, especially when it comes to people. My daughter absolutely adores these kinds of movies, one of her favorite parts being when Anna knocks out Hans. So make sure to check out Frozen and Frozen 2 over on Disney+, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Remember, some people are worth melting for. Number 1, Jigsaw Saw. In 2004, we were introduced to the Saw franchise, which was instantly a huge success from the then new directors/writing team of James Wan and Lee Wannell. In a dilapidated bathroom, like the one you'd find at an old subway station, we meet Adam and Dr. Lawrence Gordon, who are chained to a set of pipes, with a dead body in the middle of the room in a pool of blood and a revolver by his hand. They then both find tapes that contain the rules of the deadly game they are now a part of. Lawrence quickly realizes this is the work of the Jigsaw Killer, who has been all over the news recently, and coincidentally, he himself was accused of being. Some of Dr. Gordon's things ended up at previous crime scenes, which led the police to finger him as suspect number 1. Adam grows more suspicious of Lawrence, and vice versa. However, in order to survive, they both need to work together to escape. Lawrence discovers that his wife and daughter are being held captive, so he has no choice but to play along. Suffice it to say, Jigsaw isn't revealed until the very end of the film, yet there are plenty of suspects pointed out throughout the film. But what a twist! A flashback earlier in the film shows us when Lawrence is making his rounds at the hospital and lecturing to a class of students, talking about the patient in a cold and callous manner, as if they are just products for him to finish by end of day. And one of these patients just happens to be John Kramer. At the end of the film, once Lawrence has already cut off his own foot and crawls out of the bathroom, the corpse in the center of the room slowly gets up, revealing He's been alive the whole time, using practical effects that clearly fooled the two victims snared in the trap. He proceeds to tell Adam that the key for his chains were in the tub, which, if you remember the beginning of the film, Adam accidentally drained the tub when he was startled awake. Adam attempts to shoot him and fails, and so Jigsaw walks out, slamming the sliding door closed, exclaiming, "Game over." The reveal floored audiences when this first released, and thus, the franchise was born. Now, 10 films deep. So make sure to see where all of it started over on Max, Hulu, Sling, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 5. Norman Bates, Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's 1960s classic suspense thriller hit cinemas like a bullet, giving the audiences something they had never seen before, in a time when much was censored in America. We are first introduced to Marion Crane, played famously by Janet Leigh, the mother of famed actress Jamie Lee Curtis, as she steals a large amount of money from the real estate company she works for, and goes on the run from Phoenix to her boyfriend's house in Fairville, California. On our drive, there is one night where the rain is just too heavy to continue driving, so she checks into a motel, meeting Norman Bates, the owner of Bates Motel. He invites her to dinner, and they have a seemingly normal conversation. But Marion is concerned about his mother, claiming she should be institutionalized, which upsets Norman. She ends up going back to her room to shower, and this is where the iconic shower stab scene comes from, as Marion is hacked to death with a sharp blade. Not too long after, her sister Lila then goes to visit the boyfriend, Sam, who has no idea what happened to Marion, and so they hire a private investigator who goes to the motel, also ending in his death. Lila and Sam get increasingly worried, as it's been a long time since this investigator reached out to them, so they're the next ones to go to the motel to investigate. Once there, Sam tries to get Norman to talk to him, but with growing suspicion, Norman knocks him out and looks for Lila, finding her hiding in a closet beside his mummified mother. Fortunately, Sam wasn't knocked out completely, and he recovers just in enough time to subdue Norman and have the police arrest him. Turns out that Norman was dealing with multiple personalities, one of which was his late mother. It absolutely blew audiences' minds when they first saw it, and set a standard for big twist endings in Hollywood. This film is considered the best of Alfred Hitchcock, and I've got to agree. I love the black and white cinematography and the way everything comes together. So make sure to check this out over on Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope that you're enjoying all of our content. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. If you want to support us even further, there are numerous ways. First, check out fatninja.shop, our very own merch store where we sell t-shirts, hoodies, hats, shoes, and more, featuring our logo and other designs. You can also join our Patreon, linked in the video description. Last but not least, we have officially launched the YouTube membership program. At only $4.99 a month, you'll get access to our monthly newsletter featuring reviews, previews, and exclusive behind-the-scenes information about our upcoming projects and videos. You also get a nifty little badge and special emojis that you can use during our upcoming live stream chats. And if you're a member of our Discord channel, you'll get access to a special role which gives you even better access to the Fat Ninja staff and the chance to enter a monthly prize drawing as well as a shout-out at the end of our videos. The prize drawings will only begin once we have reached our goal of 50 members. Finally, you'll also be gifted a special coupon code good for 20% off any item from our store. We appreciate each and every one of you and are incredibly thankful for your support. Each new subscriber and member helps us achieve our goals and keeps us motivated to create new content each week. Thanks again. Take care.
Number 6. Captain Dudley Smith, LA Confidential. Set in 1953, the LAPD is trying to clean up their public image, while police officer Edmund Exley is living in his dad's shadow. He used to be a celebrated detective before he was murdered. Edmund names his father's killer Rollo Tomasi, a moniker that means for the ones that didn't face justice. During Christmas, one of the other officers begins to investigate a prostitution ring, which coincides with Edmund's case. Exley demands that the higher-ups arrest some corrupt officers who are responsible for some of the scandals the LAPD has been facing. However, Police Captain Dudley Smith disagrees and tries to steer him away because if Exley digs too far, it might just bring down the entire department. It's then revealed that one of the corrupt officers knows about Rollo Tomasi, and this in turn starts putting the puzzle pieces together into a rather ugly picture. The bribery and corruption just doesn't stop with the officers, but goes even beyond the police department to the local mayor's office and more. Edmund is subsequently ambushed by Smith, but manages to get the upper hand and retake control of the situation at this abandoned house, where Dudley finally breaks and spills all the secrets he's been covering up. Dudley, all cocky like he's gonna get away with it, heads outside to the approaching sirens. But before he can use his influence to cover it all up, Edmund shoots Dudley in the back with a shotgun. The reveal is so great because throughout the film, you think he's a by-the-books kind of leader, someone who's got Exley's back, but tries to color inside the lines. The cast is what really brings everything together and keeps you at the edge of your seat, featuring Guy Pearce, Russell Crowe, James Cromwell, Kim Basinger, and Danny DeVito. So you really don't want to miss this one. Make sure to check it out on Plex, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 7, Michael, The Good Place. I'm only going to be really touching on season 1 of this show, which first aired in 2016. And spoiler alert if you have not seen this show. We follow Eleanor, who just recently died via being run over by a truck carrying boner pills, and is in this beautiful afterlife she comes to learn is called the Good Place. However, she knows she doesn't belong in heaven. She's had a pretty rough past and done some super shitty things, let's just say. She meets with some others who are also there and quickly befriends them, hoping their inherent goodness will rub off on her, and learns of the architect Michael, who created this place. Through her soulmate, Chidi, Eleanor begins to learn how to be better, basically learning morals, and Michael, aware that he might have made a mistake and gotten the wrong Eleanor, cheers her on so she can stay. But then, in a total moment of defeat and clarity, Eleanor realizes about the good place and that the people that inhabit it. She accuses Michael of being a trickster and that it's really the bad place after all, and he's just torturing them all. With an evil, wicked laugh, Michael comes clean that, yes, he has actually been torturing them by making them continue on with mundane existence, having to deal with stupid, annoying things such as losing car keys or whatnot, as well as constantly reliving their greatest failures and fears. Before they can do anything about it, Michael snaps his fingers and resets their memories, as this isn't the first time she's figured it out. A great premise for a show that teaches people about what it is to be human and how we act impacts the world around us, while being absolutely hilarious. It's also quite deep with rich character arcs. So take some time to binge the entire series over on Apple TV, Netflix, Fandango, or Prime, and let us know what you think. Number 8, Grant Ward, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There are so many moving parts to the MCU and how everything all ties together. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of those series that is intertwined with some of the films, and you kind of have to watch it all in order to get a real sense of anything. But let me know if you want the MCU broken down anymore or if you want the chronological order of films and shows. However, in this show, Agent Phil Coulson is trying to put together a group of super spies to take down Project Centipede. In the first season is really more of a team building exercise than anything, but I digress. So Phil is trying to do all these things with Project Centipede, and the team seems to get along well. They all train together, practically live with each other. However, it's later revealed that Ward is part of Hydra, and that's where his alliance is, and ends up killing a few members of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, one of the other people, Skye, tries to cozy up to Ward, thinking she'd get the drop on him. Yeah, that doesn't work. He tells Skye that his feelings were always real and he loves her, blah blah blah. Only she responds with, "I think I'm gonna be sick." The soul-crushing moment to Ward, but doesn't seem to faze him. But this betrayal was so deep, the remaining members of S.H.I.E.L.D. learned they couldn't trust everybody. However, you can check out this series over on Disney+, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 9, Harrison Wells, The Flash. Initially, Barry Allen first appeared as The Flash on the CW show Arrow, which fans loved. And so the producers decided to create a spin-off in 2014 simply titled The Flash. This was the second most watched pilot episode on the CW network, the first being in 2009 for The Vampire Diaries. The story picks up with Barry, who survives an accident at Star Lab, and thus becomes the Flash, which is known as a meta-human in the DCEU, and he begins fighting crime with his new abilities. Together with the help of friends, family, and support from the city, he becomes their hero, an icon of justice. As he learns about his powers, Barry has a mentor, Harrison Wells, a man in a wheelchair in charge of Star Labs. Barry has also encountered another speedster recently, someone who has no aversion to killing, and is in fact responsible for the death of his mother and the incarceration of his father. One day, Cisco, one of the techs at the lab, is working and comes across evidence pointing to the Reverse Flash and Harrison being the same person. Before he can alert others, Harrison reveals his evilness and lays out his entire plan for Cisco, just before killing him. It's just heartbreaking for the series, but don't worry, The Flash will save the day. So make sure to check this out over on Netflix, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime for a speedy fun adventure. Number 10, William, the Man in Black, Westworld. Imagine in about 25 years, we have theme parks constructed by a company to create various time periods in a fully realized, immersive biodomes that allow people, or hosts if you will, to basically live out their wildest desires, whether that be going on a grand adventure or a killing spree. Now, the hosts themselves cannot be hurt, as safety design prevents that from happening. But the AI NPCs that inhabit the park, well, you can do whatever you want to them. At the end of each day or scenario, they are reset, kind of like a video game, following a predetermined story path that adjusts to each player. That's the premise of Westworld, a massive Wild West theme park where gold is plentiful and bullets go flying. In the beginning, we meet Dolores, a young farmer's girl who is slowly becoming sentient. Something in her coding had been updated, and she begins to retain some of her memories. Normally, her daily routine is pretty simple. She wakes up, goes to town, has a date with a handsome young bounty hunter, and then comes back to her home only to find her father has been killed by the milk bandits, to which her date ends up killing them. Except this time, the Man in Black is waiting for her. He quickly dispatches Teddy, and then has his way with Dolores, before she ultimately is reset and wakes up the next day to start all over again. We then meet William, who's coming to Westworld with his soon-to-be brother-in-law, Logan. Logan is a bit of a dick. He's here to rape, pillage, and murder, because he can't get away with it in real life, and that makes him feel like a man. Whatever. William, on the other hand, is like the classic gamer. He wants to play the hero and is head over heels transfixed by this place. He still can't quite believe it's all so real. William bumps into Dolores, and since these storylines are adaptive to host interaction, he ends up spending the day with her and pretty much falling in love with her, even though she isn't a real person, just a robot essentially. Meanwhile, we cut to the Man in Black, who is on a quest of his own, in a sense, and has kidnapped some poor robo-schmuck to torture him and find out the secrets of Westworld, solving the quote-unquote maze that leads to exclusive rewards at the center. Back to William and Dolores. They are captured by a group of bandits, led by none other than Logan at the forefront, who stabs Dolores to prove to Will that she's nothing but a robot. But William still thinks of her as a person, so he tells her to run and he'll find her. She ends up running to a church where memories start coming back to her, and then the Man in Black shows up and starts abusing her. She hopes and prays that William is going to find her and rescue her. That is when suddenly the Man in Black is revealed to be William, years later and much older, much colder from the time that has passed and toll that life has taken on him, turning him into this heartless fiend. This was such a jaw-dropping moment as they played the time jumps so perfectly. You didn't realize they were happening decades apart. With quite a few more twists and turns and an unrelenting and emotionally engaging storyline, it's gonna leave you wanting to know how it all ends. So make sure to binge the entire series over on Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at StudiosFat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again. See you in the next one.